Hello everyone and welcome to my Core Power Yoga Flow. This practice, as the name suggests, is going to focus on building power through your core through a few different creative sequences, laying down on the back, kneeling, standing, and then also just bringing an overall core awareness into our traditional yoga poses that we practice. One of my favorite things about practicing yoga in general is that we don't really do a lot of isolated core work because, full disclosure, I don't really like it. But when we have an overall awareness of the core and how to engage the core in all of our yoga postures, then we build that strong core of our body either way without having to do quote unquote core work all the time. We will do some sequences that focus on the core, but overall we're just going to find greater awareness of how to engage through the belly. For this practice, you will need ideally a block, and you might need a blanket, you might not. If you don't have a block, just getting a pillow or something that's a little thicker that you could put in between your knees at some point in the beginning. When you are ready, we are going to get started for this practice laying down. And you want to make sure that you have your block or pillow or whatever you're using just within reaching distance as you lie down, so you don't have to get up to get it later. And we're just going to get started in whatever shape of the body is most comfortable for you. You might get started in a shavasana of sorts with the arms and legs extended, or you might choose a different variation of arms or legs. Perhaps you'd rather take a reclined bound angle and bring the soles of the feet together, allowing the knees to open wide. If your low back is feeling sensitive, you might bend the knees, taking the feet to the edges of the mat and knock the knees together to touch. The hands can be along the sides, on the belly, on the chest, overhead. Just finding a place where you can really soften in here, and where you can connect to your breath most of all. With each inhale, feeling the belly, ribs, and chest expand and fill, lifting up towards the ceiling or the sky. With every exhale, feeling the belly, the ribs, and the chest all empty of breath and fall back down towards the mat. Feeling that lifting, filling, expanding on your inhale. And that falling, emptying, and contracting on your exhale. And here as you breathe, we're just going to focus on lightly finding our core. So without bringing in too much effort, still keeping the eyes closed. Oftentimes we think of our core as just being the belly, but the anchor, the root of our core is in our pelvic floor. It's a lot easier to find it when you exhale. So as you empty of breath, draw the pelvic floor up and in, and then from that space, feel the belly draw up and in. Inhale to relax and fill. As you exhale and empty, draw the pelvic floor, Mula Bandha, up and in, followed by the belly, Uddiyana Bandha, up and in. Try to maintain those bandhas as you breathe here. So the belly might not expand quite as far because the muscles are engaged, but you can still fill just as deeply with breath. And notice how much stronger the center of your body might feel, especially if you don't typically engage the pelvic floor before engaging the belly or along with the belly. We can still find strength in the core by only engaging the belly, but it's a much deeper, much more rooted form of strength when we have both bandhas engaged. Go ahead and gently release your bandhas. Continue to breathe. And here, with the eyes still closed, gently stack one hand on top of the other at the heart. And just take a moment to guide and set an intention for this practice. Whether that be a reminder or an affirmation to yourself. Perhaps something like, I am strong, or I am rooted. Maybe it's a dedication of your efforts for someone or something else. A mantra. Whatever it is that you need here and now, bring it into the forefront of your mind. And together, we seal those intentions into our practice by taking a deep breath in through the nose and a long breath through the mouth. Deep inhale. Exhale. And here as you inhale, gently blink the eyes open. And from here, you'll bend the knees towards the ceiling or sky. And you're going to give yourself a hug, wrapping the right arm on top of the left, trying to reach the fingertips to the inner edges of the shoulder blades. And then here, you're going to take your left leg and cross it up and over the right. And we're going to work to find eagle legs, so this might be as far as you go, or you might try to wrap the left foot around the right. And then you might leave the arms this way, or you might wrap the arms. So as you inhale, reach the fingertips overhead, reach the feet out in front of you. And as you exhale, draw the knees towards the elbows. Try to keep the head and neck down for right now. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, elbows towards the knees. Inhale to extend. Exhale together. And inhale. This time as you exhale, perhaps you curl the head and neck up. Inhale, keep them lifted as you extend. Exhale together. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Exhale, pause here for 5. Keep drawing the pelvic floor and low belly in and down towards the mat beneath you for 3, 2, and 1. Lower the head and neck down, unwind the arms, keep the legs crossed, and let both of your knees fall to the right. And if you have the ankle wrapped and that's a little too much tension, you can always unwrap the ankle here with just the left knee crossed up and over the right. And take a breath. Good. As you inhale, come back to center. And begin to switch the cross of your legs, crossing the right leg over the left, giving yourself a hug with the left arm over top of the right. Good. Here, lift up the legs. Try to wrap the right foot around if you can. Otherwise, just squeeze the foot against the side of the left leg. And then maybe you pick up the forearms wrapping there. As you inhale, reach the elbows up overhead. Reach the feet in front of you. And as you exhale, bring the elbows towards the knees. Keep the head and neck down for now. Inhale to reach up. Exhale, draw in. Inhale, reach. Exhale towards each other. Taking 3 more rounds, but lifting the head and neck if you can. Inhale. Exhale together. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale for 5. Relax the face. 4. Find your bandhas. 3, 2, And 1. Lower the head and neck, unwind the arms. Let both of your knees fall to the left. Breathe here. Good. Here, gently come back to center, uncross the legs. Grab a hold of your block or your pillow, a book, and you want to place it in between the inner thighs. Good. Here, squeeze the inner thighs together. Let the arms rest along the sides of the body. And as you inhale, press down into the feet to lift the hips up. Good. Here, feel the thighs rolling in towards the block and down towards the mat beneath you. Take a deep breath in. Breath out. And by squeezing the block with the thighs, it becomes a little bit easier to feel the pelvic floor lift in and up, Mula Bandha. Draw the belly in and up, Uddiyana Bandha. Breathe here. Relax the grip of the toes, relax the face. Even when we find a lot of effort and action in the body, we still balance it with some ease in other places. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, roll the spine back down. Let the low back touch down last. Keep the block between the thighs, but lift the knees up at a 90-degree angle. And inhale here. And as you exhale, let both of your knees hover over to the right, squeezing the block to keep them hovering, drawing in through the belly. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. You can either continue moving in this way. If you want to increase the intensity, you'll straighten the legs. Exhale to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale. Exhale, right. Pause here and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back to center, bend the knees, take the feet back down to the mat. Bring the arms along the sides of the body. Inhale here. As you exhale, press down into the feet to lift to bridge pose. Keep squeezing the block with the inner thighs and using that squeeze to help encourage the engagement of Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. Relax the face. Breathe here for 4 more breaths. And imagine that the tailbone is reaching towards the space between your knees. So if you feel that the low back is dipping down towards the floor, that the tailbone is tilting down, lift it in and up, finding length in the low back. Take a breath in. Breath out. Inhale. As you exhale, roll the spine back down, touch the tailbone last. Bring the arms into cactus arms, lift the knees up at a 90-degree angle. And squeeze the block with the thighs and feel the low belly pull in and up and down into the mat beneath you. So the low belly pulling in presses the back down. Inhale here. As you exhale, hover the knees to the left. Inhale, use the belly and thighs to come to center. Exhale, hover to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale. Exhale, right. Inhale to center, perhaps straightening the legs. Exhale to the left. Might not go down as far. Inhale, pull to center. Exhale, hover to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale to the left. Pause here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come to center. Take the feet down to the mat. Press down to lift the hips. Remove the block from in between the thighs and place it underneath of the low back. And set the low back down on the block. And oftentimes when we start to work through the core, our hip flexors can get tight because our thighs And hips do provide a foundation for our core as well, so they do work as well to engage the core. So here, finding a stretch to help release the hip flexors, you'll draw your right knee in, and you'll move it slightly over to the right towards the right underarm. Now this might be enough of a stretch for you. This might be where you stay, or you'll start to slide the left heel forward and press the left heel down into the mat. And so we want to find opposite actions here. The left leg is reaching forward, the left heel is pressing forward and down, and the right knee is drawing in towards you. Just as much as we're pulling the right knee in, we're pressing and pushing the left heel away. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. Exhale. One more. As you exhale, lower the right foot down, draw the left knee in towards the left underarm. And pause here for a moment. And then maybe start to slide the right heel forward, reaching forward through the heel, through the toes. And the leg doesn't have to come all the way extended. What's important here is that the heel is touching the mat, so you have something to press into. So it would be better to have the knee slightly bent and the heel pressing down than to have the leg straight and hovering above the mat. For this stretch at least, for what we're going for. And breath in. Breath out. Inhale. Exhale. And gently lower the left foot down, the right foot comes to meet it. Lift the hips up, move the block out from under you and off to the side. And hug the knees into the chest, rock side to side. Good. And then here, gently begin to rock forwards and backwards. Eventually coming all the way up to seated, crossing at the shins. Reaching both arms up overhead. And as you exhale, walking the hands forward to fold. Letting go of the head and neck. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. Exhale. As you inhale, come all the way up. Good. And here, take your hands to your ribs so that your thumb is at your bottom rib and your fingertips are at your hip bones. And so as we go through poses, we're going to bring about an awareness, not just to the low belly and pelvic floor drawing in and up, but to the ribs knitting in. And so what that means is oftentimes when we go to engage our core, we end up actually taking a pose into the back of our body. And we do that by arcing the spine. So we constrict the muscles in the back and engage them because they're very strong. And then we expand through the front of our body. And so our body works in opposing action. So if the back body is constricting, the front body expands. And similarly, if the front body constricts, if we take that space between the hip bones and the ribs and we make it smaller, contracting it together, the back body lengthens. And so we want to find in our core work is we want to find that the front of the body is getting a little bit smaller. It's constricting, not so much that we're hunching over, but it's constricting. The ribs and hip points are coming closer together. And the back of the body is nice and long. We're not taking a bunch of tension and pressure into the low back, but we're finding a lot of space and support from the core pressing in and against it. It's almost as if the core acts as an airbag for the spine, protecting it and pushing against it so that it can stay long and spacious. And that might not make sense to you yet, but maybe as we start to move through some poses, it'll start to make a little more sense. But as you're ready, start to roll over top of the shins, coming into tabletop. Good. And in your tabletop, keep the hips over top of the knees, but start to walk the hands forward, drop the chest and forehead down to puppy pose. And so this is a pose where I often see people start to flare out through the ribs and collapse and arc through the spine. So here, think about drawing the belly and ribs in, knitting them closer together, shortening that space between the ribs and the hips. Press down into the feet, engage the thighs. Draw in through the pelvic floor, in through the belly. And then open the shoulders and find a sense of surrendering from all that support. So it might feel very different than usual. Maybe you don't go down nearly as far as you usually do, but you might feel the pelvis and the core and lower body working a lot more. Take 2 more breaths here. And start to walk the hands underneath of the shoulders. As you inhale, drop the belly down, lift the gaze, find cow pose. Exhale, rounds the spine. Inhale to neutral, tuck the toes under. And as you exhale, hover the shins above the mat for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop the knees, drop the belly, lift the heart, cow pose. Exhale, round to cat. Inhale to neutral. Exhale, press down into the ball mounds of the feet. Hover the shins, draw in through the pelvic floor, Mula Bandha. Find Uddiyana Bandha from there. Keep the back of the neck long. 2, and 1. Drop the knees, drop the belly, cow pose. Exhale, round to cat. 1 more time. Inhale to center. And here, hover the shins. With the shins hovered, tap your right knee down. Lift it. Tap the left. Lift. Right. Lift. Left. Lift. Right. Lift. Left. Lift. Hold here for 1 more breath. And exhale, lift the hips up and back, down dog. Try not to let go of that engagement of the belly and collapse through the spine here, but still keep the ribs drawing in, the spine staying long. Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha engaged and strong here. Deep breath in. Breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, bends the knees, look forward. As you exhale, step or hop the feet, coming to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthens the spine. Pause here. Take the hands to the belly, draw the belly and ribs in, and then take the hands to the thighs, press them back, engage them, draw the heart forward. Keep all that engagement as you fold back in. Inhale, lengthens the spine, reaffirm those actions in the body. Exhale to fold. Inhale all the way up, the arms reach, eyes look to the thumbs. Exhale, hands to the heart, Samastitihi. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, reaches the arms overhead. Exhale to fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen the spine, engage. Stay engaged as you fold. Inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, plant the hands, step back to plank. Inhale here. As you exhale, hover the knees above the mat, draw the heart forward. Shift forward to lower halfway, re-extend the legs. Inhale to cobra or up dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Breath in. Breath out. As you inhale in your down dog, the right leg lifts up and back behind you. And as you exhale, keep the hips lifted, but draw the thigh towards the belly, the knee towards the nose. Feel the belly and ribs knit in and shorten the front of the body. Inhale to re-extend. Exhale, knee to belly. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to belly. And look forward. Keep your gaze forward as you step the right foot forward. Rise up to a high lunge, Anjaneyasana. And relax the grip of the front toes. Hold here for a few breaths. And then bring the hands to the ribs again and reaffirm that action of shortening the distance between the ribs and the hips, lengthening the back of the body and lifting the arms from there. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Inhale. As you exhale, take the hands to the belly, shift forward, find warrior 3, maintaining that action. Good. And then keeping that, maybe you take the arms or hands somewhere else. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. As you exhale, step forward to chair pose, Utkatasana. Reach the arms, lift the heart. Deep breath in. Breath out. Inhale. As you exhale, rise to stand, interlace the fingers, steeple the pointer fingers up. Take a breath. As you exhale, reach up and over to the right. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale to fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthens the spine. Bring the hands to the belly. Draw in. Press the thighs back. Draw the heart forward. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to lengthen. As you exhale, step back to plank. And inhale in your plank. As you exhale, bend and hover the knees. Draw the heart forward. Shift forward to lower, and once you get to Chaturanga, re-extend the legs by pressing through the heels. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Breathe here. And as you're ready, the left leg lifts. Inhale. Exhale the thigh to the belly. Keep the hips lifted. Draw in through the belly and ribs. Inhale, re-extend, press through the heel. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, re-extend. Exhale, draw it in. Keep the knee in, look forward. Keep your gaze forward as you step the left foot through. Rise up to a crescent lunge, high lunge. Good. In your lunge, take your hands to your hips and your belly. Shorten that space. Draw the tailbone down. Keep all of that power through the center of the body as you lift the arms and heart. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. Exhale. As you inhale, bring the hands to the belly. Hinge forward, shift forward. Find warrior 3, still pressing the belly and ribs in and up. Maybe you keep the hands there just to reaffirm that action, or maybe you take the hands somewhere else. Hold here. Keep a slight micro bend in your standing knee. Relax your left toes. Find power and support through the center of the body. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale to Utkatasana, chair pose. Step down, reach up. Big breath in. Full breath out. Inhale. As you exhale, rise to stand, interlace the fingers, steeple up. As you exhale, reach up and over to the left. Inhale to center. Exhale right. Inhale. Exhale left. Inhale. Exhale right. Inhale. Exhale the hands to the heart. Deep breath in. Full breath out. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Here as you inhale, the arms reach, eyes look up. Exhale to fold all the way down. Inhale, lengthens the spine, find core support to lengthen. As you exhale, step back to plank. Inhale here. And as you exhale, roll to the outer edge of the right foot and the inner edge of the left foot, find Vashisthasana, side plank. Good. You can always drop your bottom knee or forearm down here, but as you inhale, reach up high through the hand. And as you exhale, wrap the arm in front of the body and reach the fingertips back behind you, slightly dropping the left shoulder. Inhale to unfurl, reach the left arm back up. Exhale, bring it across the body, reach behind. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, reach behind. Inhale, up. Exhale, behind. One more, inhale, up. Exhale, in. Inhale, reach up. Exhale to meet in downward facing dog. Find your breath. And as you inhale, the right foot steps forward between the hands, rising up and open to warrior two. And take your time to set up your feet. And just hold here for a moment. Find your breath for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale here. And as you exhale, take your right forearm down to your right thigh. Reach up and over with the left arm. Stay strong through the belly and strong through the legs. And as you inhale, just slightly hover the right forearm without changing much about the pose. Exhale to set it down. Inhale, lift the right forearm. Exhale, set it down. Inhale to lift. Exhale, set it down. Inhale to lift, reach the right arm forward, press through the feet, draw in through the belly. As you inhale, come to center, straighten the front leg, and reverse the torso. Lengthen the right side of the body. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Inhale. As you exhale, rise back up to center. Turn the right toes in to face the long edge of the mat. Soften the knees, draw the tail down, lift the heart up. And as you exhale, begin to fold into Prasarita Padottanasana, but keep the hands on the hips. So oftentimes when we think about forward folding, we think that it's the flexibility of our legs or the strength of our arms or a little bit of both that helps us fold. But it's power from our core that really helps us a lot to pull ourselves forward. As you inhale, lift halfway up, keep the hands at the hips, draw the belly in. Keep that strength and support as you fold in. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. As you exhale, release the hands down. Go ahead and pull at the arms to take you a little deeper without losing that support of the core of the body. Notice how they work together to fold you forward. As you inhale, lift halfway up. And here, take the left hand directly under the face. Maybe even take it onto a block to give yourself a little bit of support. Take the right hand to the low back. Make sure that it's level there. And start to twist to the right towards the top of the mat. Good. So we're trying to keep our low back level so that our twist is coming from the belly, drawing in. Inhale. Exhale to twist. And maybe you reach the right arm up, but don't let the pelvis collapse. If you do, still keep it as level as you can. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the right hand down. Fold back in for a moment. Inhale, lengthens the spine. And as you exhale, walk the hands and pivot the feet back towards the top of the mat. Frame your front right foot in a lunge, lengthen the spine. And as you exhale, straighten through your front right leg to fold. Let go of the head and neck. Use the core of the body to fold you in deeper. Blocks might be underneath of the hands here for some support. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. As you inhale, bend into the front knee, drop the back knee down, and straighten through your front right leg to fold forward again. Just pulling back enough so that the left hip is over top of the left knee. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. And breathe here in your fold. Inhale to lengthen. Good. Now here you might tent into your fingers. You might make fists with the hands. You might put blocks under the hands, books, or some other sort of lift. But inhale here. And as you exhale, push down into your back shin and into your hands to try to lift and hover the right leg. Draw the belly in to help. Inhale. Exhale to lower down. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale, lengthens the spine. As you exhale, press down to lift. Draw the belly in. Flex the front foot. Engage the thigh. Inhale. Exhale, lower it down. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. One more time. Exhale. Press down to lift. Breathe in. Keep the back of the neck long. Breathe out. Inhale. As you exhale, lower the foot down. Bend into the front knee. Take both hands to the inside of the front foot. Wiggle the right foot out a little wider. Either stay up on the hands or drop down to forearms or blocks, finding lizard pose. And just let the legs, hips, and belly soften here for a few moments, a few breaths. Two more. And as you inhale, come back up onto the hands. Work to push into the hands, to slide the right knee back to meet the left. You're in tabletop. As you inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart. Exhale to round. Inhale to neutral. Tuck the toes, hover the knees, draw the belly in and up. Find your Mula Bandha, your Uddiyana Bandha. Take 3 more breaths. Inhale. Exhale, up and back to downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Breath out. Inhale, bends the knees. Exhale, step or hop the feet. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, the arms reach. Exhale, hands to the heart. Close the eyes and take a few breaths here. And gently blink the eyes open, reach the arms overhead, take a breath. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, step back to plank. Inhale here. As you exhale, find a side plank, coming to the outer edge of the left foot, inner edge of the right. You can always drop your left forearm down or your left knee. Inhale here, reach tall. As you exhale, bring the right arm around in front of you, reach back underneath. Inhale, unfurl, reach up. Exhale, reach it underneath. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, underneath. Inhale, reach. 2 more. Exhale, under. Inhale, reach. Last one. Exhale, under. Inhale, reach, take a breath. Exhale to meet in down dog. You can always go directly there and skip vinyasa altogether. It's not required. Deep breath in. Breath out. Inhale. Exhale. As you inhale, the left foot steps forward. Spiral the back heel and begin to work your way up and open to warrior two. And give yourself a few moments here. And just holding here for 5 breaths. Reaching just as much forwards as you are backwards. One more. Inhale. As you exhale, lower the left forearm down, reach the right arm over. Stay strong in the belly, strong in the legs. And as you inhale, very subtle movement, just try to hover the left forearm without changing much of the pose. Exhale, set it down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale to lift, reach the left arm forward, stay strong through the arms, strong through the legs, strong through the belly. And as you inhale, rise up, straighten the front leg, reverse the torso. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. As you exhale, rise up to center. Turn the toes in to face the long edge of the mat. Take the hands to the hips, draw the tail down, lift the heart up. As you exhale, fold forward, keeping the hands at the hips. Good. Use both the belly and the thighs to pull yourself further in. Inhale to lift halfway up. Exhale to fold. So you inhale, take the hands down. Use the arms to also help you pull deeper without losing the engagement of the belly and of the thighs. Inhale, lengthens the spine. And keep the spine long. This time take the right hand right under the face. Take the left hand to the low back. Keep the low back level as you twist through the belly to the left. Maybe the left arm reaches up. Good. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale to fold back in. Inhale to lengthen. And as you exhale, walk the hands and pivot the feet back to the front of the mat. Frame your front left foot in a lunge. Inhale. Exhale, straightens both legs to fold over the front left leg. Keep drawing and knitting in through the ribs and belly. Letting the back of the body lengthen to help you fold. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. As you inhale, bend back into the front knee. Drop the back knee down. Straighten through the front left leg. And lengthen the spine and fold forward again. As you inhale, lift up, either tenting into fingers, coming onto fists, or coming onto blocks. Flex the front foot, squeeze the inner thighs, draw in through the belly. Inhale. Exhale to lift the left leg. Breath in. Breath out. Lower the left foot down, take a breath, lengthen the spine. Inhale. Exhale, press down to lift. Breath in, breath out. Lower down, and breathe. Inhale. Exhale. One more time. Inhale. Exhale to lift. Draw in. Keep the back of the neck long. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. Exhale. Lower the foot down. Bend into the front knee. Wiggle the left foot a little wider to the left. Begin to move into lizard pose. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more breaths. As you inhale, come back up onto the hands. Work to slide the left knee back to meet the right. As you inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart. Exhale, round the spine, push down into the mat, press the mat away from you. Inhale to neutral. And here, tuck the toes under, hover the knees for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lift the hips up and back. You're in downward facing dog. Take a moment just to ground evenly into both hands and both feet. Deep breath in. Breath out. And as you inhale here, the right leg lifts back behind you. Next, you exhale, draw the knee in and shift forward, taking it by the right elbow. Inhale here. As you exhale, slide the knee down to the wrist. Inhale to scoop it up. Exhale, slide down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, slide. Inhale, lift. And as you exhale, set it down. Lengthen back through the left leg, lift the heart. Exhaling to fold into pigeon pose. And as you fold over the front leg, really think about lengthening back through your left leg, reaching back through the toes, releasing through the left hip flexors. Two more breaths. As you inhale, start to walk the hands in, lift the heart up. And as you exhale, tuck the back toes under. Work to lift the right leg all the way up and back to a 3-legged down dog. Stack the hip, bend the knee. Keep drawing in through the belly and ribs. Don't collapse here. And either stay here or start to pivot to the outer edge of the left foot to drop back to wild thing pose. Deep breath in. Breath out. Inhale. As you exhale, gently, slowly come back around. Lower the right foot next to the left. Hold here for 2 breaths. And other side, as you inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, bend the knee, draw it forward by the left shoulder. Inhale. Exhale, slide to the wrist. Press into the hands to lift up. Exhale, slide. Inhale, lift. Exhale, slide. Inhale, lift. And as you exhale, set it down. Pigeon pose. Really focus on the lengthening back of the right knee and right leg. And as you're ready, fold. Now, as always, if you need support under your hips here, find that. Whether it's a blanket, whether it's a block. Maybe it means you have to come onto your back and take a supine pigeon, just crossing the left shin over the right thigh and drawing the legs in towards you. Make sure you come into that if that's what you need. Slow down the breath. Release through the hips, relax the belly. Find some ease to balance the effort, some stillness to balance the movement, some appreciation for what you've already done. One more breath. And gently walk the hands in. Tuck the back toes under. Work to lift the left leg all the way up, back and through. Stack the hip, bend the knee. Stay strong through the belly. And stay here or find your wild thing pose. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. As you exhale, gently come back around. Lower the left foot next to the right. Ground into both hands and feet for 2 breaths here. Inhale, bends the knees. Exhale to step or hop. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to fold. Inhale all the way up, the arms reach. Exhale, Samastiti. Full breath in. Full breath out. Take another breath. And you're almost there. As you inhale, sink the hips back to chair pose, but take the hands to the heart. Take the feet together to touch here, the knees together to touch. Take a breath in through the center, and as you exhale, twist to the right, hook the left elbow across. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. Use the belly to twist side to side. Inhale. Exhale right. Inhale. Exhale left. Inhale. Exhale right. Inhale. Exhale left. One more time to each side. Inhale. Exhale right. Inhale. Exhale left. Inhale to center. Take the hands down. Bend the knees deeply, lifting the heels, letting the knees separate out wide. Then begin to drop the hips back and walk the arms forward, letting go of the head and neck. Finding a variation of our low squat just to release the hip flexors. Release the belly, release the head and neck. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. And as you exhale, let the seat come down. Bring the knees together here and just round forward, taking the forehead towards the knees. Soften a little bit more here. And here finding a brief Navasana sequence, a brief boat pose sequence. There's a few different options. So here you can either just lean back, keeping the feet on the ground and reach the arms out to the sides. Or you can keep the knees bent and grab a hold of the legs, lifting the heart. The full variation is to extend the arms and legs, but to be honest, I don't even practice that one that much because I can find more core support if I back out. Give yourself what you need. Inhale here. And as you exhale, take the feet to the mat if they're not already there. This might be where you sit on a blanket for this sequence. Separate the knees wide, reach the arms forward, and think about shifting from heels to toes and using the belly to come back to that low squat. And so it's a very small and subtle movement, but it might not feel so small and subtle. You might have to use your hands to help you get up. That's okay. As you inhale, lengthen the spine, draw the knees together, press into the feet, find chair pose. Inhale. Coming back out the way we came in, start to sink down, separate the knees, reach the arms forward. And then start to shift back onto the seat. Maybe you're sitting on a blanket, lean back, find boat pose. Maybe the feet stay on the mat the whole time. Inhale here. As you exhale, take the feet down, widen the knees, shift from heels to toes, reach forward, fold. Inhale to lengthen. Spiral the knees together, drop the heels, lift the torso, chair pose. Inhale. Exhale, lower down, separate the knees, reach forward. And lengthen, drop the seat back onto the mat or a blanket, find boat pose, Navasana. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale takes the feet down, shift forward, reach forward, fold forward. Give yourself a moment to get there. Inhale to lengthen, spiral the knees, and begin to rise up to chair. Last time in chair. Inhale. Exhale, comes down, separate the knees, fold in. Inhale. Exhale, drops the hips back, Navasana. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. And as you exhale, take the feet down, slide the legs forward, reach up through the arms. Exhale to fold. Let go of the belly. Let go of the thighs, let go of that sequence. And I love that sequence because it takes a lot of control and strength in the hip flexors and in the belly to find that movement. But it's one where, with practice and time, you see such a drastic improvement. I can still remember the first yoga class I was in where that sequence was taught, a variation of that sequence, and I could not get up to save my life. And I struggled and thought I would never, ever do it. But I just started practicing it randomly all the time, not even in a yoga class, just randomly sitting around my house. I would just do that little sequence. And over time, it became easier and easier. Still requiring strength, still support, still balance. But with practice, it can become very accessible, which is why we practice it sitting on a blanket at first, to make that shift forward and up easier, to give yourself a little lift. And eventually you can take it away, or maybe you don't. It doesn't matter. None of these sequences really matter. We're just trying to find core support and strength to carry with us through our other practices. None of these sequences or poses will make or break your yoga practice, I promise. So if you feel any sense of frustration here, give yourself a little bit of grace if you can, especially if it's your first time trying many of these things. Knowing that that is the first step towards being really good at something, just trying it for the first time. Inhale, lengthens the spine. Exhale to fold. As you inhale, gently rise all the way up. Bend the knees and begin to come down onto your back. And taking the arms along the sides of the body. As you inhale here, begin to press into the feet and lift the hips, finding bridge pose. And here, maybe lift the right leg up overhead. And if you do, really press down into the left foot to lift the right leg higher. Drawing in through the belly, lifting through the sacrum, pressing into the feet, engaging the quadriceps. Find Mula Bandha, find Uddiyana Bandha, the pelvic floor, the low belly. Inhale. And as you exhale from wherever you are, lower the spine back down, lift the right leg up if it wasn't already, and then reach the right heel forward, set it down, press it into the mat, and draw the left knee in towards the chest, similar to what we did earlier with the block beneath us. Take a breath in here, and as you exhale, press the left knee across the belly, finding a supine twist. You can slide the right knee up underneath of the left if you'd like, or you can extend the left leg out to the right if you'd like and reach for it with the right hand. Or you can stay right here. Holding our twists a little bit longer than we typically would. Breath in. Breath out. As you inhale, come to center. Bend both knees, draw them into the chest, rock side to side. And lower the feet down. Press down into the feet to lift the hips. Find bridge pose one last time. Either pressing both feet equally into the mat or lifting the left leg up. Pressing down into the right foot, drawing through the belly, lifting through the left heel. The more you press into the right, the higher the left leg can lift. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. As you exhale, roll the spine back down. Lift the left leg up if it wasn't already, and extend the left leg all the way out in front of you. Reach, reach, reach through the heel. Draw the right knee in. Breath in. Breath out. Inhale. Exhale, presses the right knee across the body, finding your twist. Big breath in. Bigger breath out. Inhale. Exhale. Stay here a few more breaths, a few more moments. Breath in and out. As you inhale, come back to center, hug the knees into the chest. Rock side to side, circle the knees clockwise, counterclockwise. And then as you're ready, let the arms come along the sides of the body. Reach up through both legs. Slowly, slowly, slowly extend the right leg down towards the right corner of the mat. And as it touches down, allow it to become heavy. And then reach, reach, reach through the left heel, lowering the left leg to the left corner of the mat, letting it be heavy. Allow the arms to rest wherever they'll be most comfortable for you here. Let go of the practice. Of course, if this pose doesn't work for you, if you need to adjust it, change it in some way, please feel free to do so. Find the place that's going to be the most comfortable and comforting for you to end your practice. To let go of the tremendous amount of work, doing, and effort, the movement, and to allow in stillness and ease to balance it. Knowing that it doesn't matter what you did or what you didn't do, that by just showing up, breathing, and being willing to try, you already did enough. Even allow the breath to sink into a place of ease, just coming and going at its natural rhythm and cadence, with nowhere left to go and nothing left to do except to just be here and be still. Gently begin to take your deepest breath in so far, and your longest, slowest, softest breath out. Reaching the arms overhead, stretching from fingers to toes, and then drawing the knees in, and rolling off to whichever side feels most comfortable and comforting to you. Allowing your top hand to rest at your heart as you get there. And just taking a moment to thank yourself. Thanking yourself for maybe being willing to try something new. Maybe being willing to step outside your comfort zone. But more than anything else, just for being willing to try and to show up. Making the time and the space, knowing that that's often the hardest part of doing anything at all, especially yoga. And that it's always enough. With that same hand, gently press yourself up to seated. And as you arrive there, bring the hands together at the heart. And I just wanted to extend my own gratitude to you, whoever you are, wherever you are, for sharing your time, your practice, your effort, and your ease with me. And I hope that if you learned anything or if you have any benefits from this practice, that you can carry them with you for however long you need them. And until I see you on your mat again, namaste.